Would you like to know more? Would you like to know more?
Welcome to Warmaster Podcast, episode 185 with Paul and Barry.
Hello, listeners.
Hello.
Hello.
15th of December.
Yeah.
1 week to Santa.
Yeah.
No, it's not. What, 10 days to Santa?
10 days to Santa.
10 days to Santa.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be talking a bit about Paul's recent Battlefield Hobby GT.
Yeah.
Which was going to be a Coventry event, I think, or something, wasn't it? At one
No,
point?
Leicester
event.
Leicester, yeah. And this was the alternative.
This was the alternative.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also going to talk a little bit about the Rules Committee and some random stuff to keep up to date with what's going on in the wide world.
Mm-hmm.
Might get another one in before the end of the year. Don't know. Might not.
Yep.
Might not. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I got my exam invigilator's job starting in the new year, so that's interesting.
How long is that for?
So it's about 20 hours a week during exam times, but that includes mock exam time. So
That's just is that literally just standing in a room making sure no one cheats?
yeah,
Like
a referee. It's got
Yeah,
my
you're a referee. Yeah. Did you see about that referee?
I did.
Did you watch a video?
Turkey.
I didn't see a video of it.
Yeah, he gets kicked in the head a couple of
What
times.
is going on there? Tell me.
Well, they weren't very happy with his decisions, I guess. I think he sent 2 players off, and I think there was a controversial last-minute equaliser. So it wasn't even as if one team had won and one had lost. It was just a draw.
Right. Okay.
And the guy was the club president. So not just some random schmo.
Oh.
And he ran on and lamped him. And in his explanation, he said, "I didn't mean to go on and hit him. I was just meant to spit in his face."
Which is fine.
Which is common assault in the UK,
Yeah.
mate, so it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's been resigned. He's been banned from football.
Quite right.
Yeah, and I think
Because you do football refereeing.
I used to. I don't do it anymore.
Oh, okay. Oh, you stopped doing that.
No, I'm
No,
still,
that's in for kids. Yeah.
I'm still linesman occasionally,
Yeah.
or well, assistant referee as it's called now.
Mm-hmm.
But I did referee in London.
Yeah.
And 1 week the whole of the Turkish league's been closed down.
Yeah.
The guy's been banned from football for life. The club have got a fine and have to play 5 matches behind closed doors, and he's still got to go through the Turkish courts, I believe, because in the UK you'd be lucky not to get a sentence for that.
Yeah,
at least a suspended sentence.
It's an assault.
Probably would have only been suspended, although the fact it was like filmed live.
Yeah.
And after, because he one punched him and knocked him down and fractured his eye socket, and then he got kicked in the head a couple of times when he was down.
Bloody hell.
Mad, really?
Yeah.
Where did that one come from? That conversation.
What? Because
the referee. So I'm now exam referee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exam referee. Mm-hmm. So that's good. It's not that many hours a year, but it's something, and it meant that I could get rid of this nonsense. Because do you know Curry's PC World? I don't mind calling these wankers out.
Go on.
Dixon's group, as it used to be when I worked for them.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
They were awful to work for.
Yeah.
And they're awful to have to deal with as a customer if you ever have to complain. Anyway, I couldn't get a reference from them. I couldn't even get a phone number or an email contact to get a reference from them.
Yeah, but this is from working for them for how long ago?
Well, 18 years.
18 years, yeah. So, is that surprised you that you couldn't? Or
Well, they didn't know it was 18 years ago.
Oh, okay, right, okay, got it.
I just physically couldn't do it. So
Yeah.
it ended up that for this job, they abandoned even trying to get that reference, even though they needed to get that reference, and just went for 2 personal references because it was impossible.
I mean, at least, well...
I mean, legally, you should have to give a reference or at least a statement of employment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I knew it was going to be hard, which is kind of one of the reasons I didn't really try that hard to get back into paid employment.
Mm-hmm.
But the good thing about the exam invigilation is it's PAYE, so I get my pension contributions, which is what it's really about.
Oh, okay.
For me.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Because I'm semi-retired now at 53, so
Hard life you've had, Barry.
Well, it's just tough. I mean, my youngest is 13 now, so I really can't justify being at home just to...
Well, some people, people do. Like, they just don't want to work.
Yes. So that'd be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Although he was really unhappy, my boy, because it's at the local school.
Right. Yeah.
Chelmsford.
Oh, so you're going to invigilate him?
Yeah. So no, I won't be allowed to do that.
No, of course not. I suppose not.
But it means I can go home and walk the dog and stuff at lunchtime.
Mm-hmm.
But, he was very unhappy. I said to him that I'll potentially be working here long after you've left.
hang on, yeah. Why is he unhappy? Why is he?
Because he doesn't want his dad in school. This is
Yeah,
secondary school. This is like proper stuff.
Yeah, but you're not going to interact much with him, are you?
No, hopefully never.
Yeah, exactly. So tell him to jog on.
Go ahead, pull your neck in. Pull your neck in, bastard.
Yeah.
And he's not a bastard. I call him a bastard. So another thing is Blackgate's back. I couldn't be asked with the work involved with moving, so I just ponied up another couple of hundred.
Oh, you did? Okay. So your apathy has benefits, like
the benefits to Jimdo, the web company.
Yeah, like can always entrust on Barry to do the least thing.
I don't know the least thing. It was like there was a lot of work moving to eBay.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the problems I'm having is the fucking costs of Royal Mail, which are just absolutely getting fucking ridiculous.
What is? Have they increased them again recently?
Yeah, in October.
Like, because I now know a second class parcel is £3. Like.
Yeah, but that's the UK.
That's the UK, yeah.
So I do free post to Europe and America.
Yeah. Ooh. You free post.
Free post over £120 or £90
okay,
or whatever,
yeah,
or £60, whatever the spend is. So it's like dealing with this and with eBay and stuff. This is just fucking hard work, and then the tax implications, and it's just like just keep it simple. At the moment, it goes through my website. The money comes in, I just post it out.
Yeah.
And just eat whatever costs there are. But adding eBay to the costs is just a whole new level. Because they want 12.5% of everything as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So another year. We'll see what comes around next year. We'll see what state we're in. Well, I'm certainly not going to be going on retiring on the money coming in through Blackgate.
No, but I guess that if the easiest thing is for you to do nothing, then I'd probably place my money on that. That's what Barry will do. The easiest thing.
So it's not quite that I worked. Well, it's not really worked, is it? But the Blackgate existed a year just to pay its web bill, but it wasn't far off. It wasn't far off. Anyway, and then the next thing we've got to talk about is we discussed an Android app last thing, and we thought it was the Warmaster List Builder app, which of course it isn't.
Okay.
Do you know which app it is?
What are you talking about?
It's on my. I'm going to have to try and get into.
Because I use Best Coast. I've used part of this event. I used Best Coast pairings to run a tournament. So that's something I was going to talk about on camera. Oh, okay. What's this? Oh, what's that? Warmaster Revolution Companion. What? What is this? Somebody's done an app.
Yeah.
Is it on Apple? Can you get it?
Yeah, I think so. It's called WMR Companion.
I'm going to look at it now.
And it's 1.2.31. Somebody did contact me on Facebook, but I'm using my phone to record and also trying to look at this app.
What's it called?
WMR Companion. From lmdevelopment.2022@gmail.com or something. Special thanks to the entire Warmaster Revolutions community for keeping this game alive.
Ooh, right, okay.
Special mentions to Forest Dragon, Ominonoji, K. Rofe, Paintera, oh my god, Prezemas,
what are you talking about?
M. Hobbies Hardy.
Right.
It's thanks.
Okay.
This is a non-commercial fan-made project. I have no affiliation. And it basically has got an army builder.
Yeah.
And a game tracker.
Oh, fantastic. The game tracker would be handy.
I just crashed. Please don't crash the bloody... Right, so I'm going to come off this so I can carry on with my recording. So the game tracker and a list builder.
Yeah.
And apparently if you want to talk about this, you need to get onto the Warmaster Discord.
Yeah.
Which I don't do Discord.
Yeah.
But there was a Warmaster, is it a Revolution or just a straight Warmaster? I don't know. Yeah. But there's a Discord, so get yourself on Discord. You'll find the community there and have a play with this app.
Fantastic. I mean, a game tracker would be quite good. Yeah.
I'm sure it's on there.
Yeah. Because when I come to the event, I'll talk about how I ran it. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's not like it's not an event tracker.
No. I've got something to say about that.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Right. Okay. And then we've also had a listener. So we're getting all the stuff out of the way. Well done, whoever did that app, and well done, whoever brought that app to my attention. And then back to my attention when I talked about the wrong app. So we have a contact from a listener to Paul around ideas.
Yeah.
Which is always good. I mean, after 185 episodes, it is quite difficult to keep coming up with shit to talk about. That aren't just events.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we had a listener contact Paul.
It's guy in America, and Andrew Wodaslavsky. Hello, Paul. In your last episode, you asked for some ideas for new episodes and brainstorm. 1. What timing systems different tournament organisers use and why?
Oh, that's a good conversation in itself.
2. How to win with the series, where you interview someone that won or scored well at an event with X Army and discuss what strategy works in life. Well, we're about to talk about that right now.
Hey, what's that? How to win with?
How to win with.
We'll just get Janice how to win with.
He'll never go on camera for that. 3. Where is the pewter? Who are the last survivors of the 3D printing invasion? Who is still doing pewter? No, sitting right here.
Well, there's not a few. But...
4. Meet your MP. Interviews with the Warmaster Rules Committee members, who they are and what the community they represent. Yeah.
Oh, we've got a little bit of that coming today. So well done, sir.
5.
Well done, Andrew.
Global overview of cities with an event scene. Cheers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll try and incorporate some or all of that next year.
Sure.
Some of it's coming today.
We can attempt them. Yeah,
How to win with? I don't know. That is a complicated because it's not like like a normal GW game where you've got a codex and the codex just has entries that are completely fucking busted. Like signature units in an army say, just spam fucking striking hawks or whatever the fuck the Eldar ones are called or whatever. Or whatever it is. There is nothing like that in Warmaster. Everything's roughly balanced.
But that is why it's such a good game.
Yeah. The Lego blocks that form an army are roughly similar.
Yeah.
So a knight is a knight is a knight. If you've got command 9 with knights, you've got command 9 with knights.
Yeah.
It's the same as everything. I can't say, just spam command 9 with knights.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't work. So it's about, there's a lot more about synergy and tactics. And a little bit less about list building, I think. Yeah. There's certainly no way you can say this is how you win with... Well, all right, dwarves. This is how you win with dwarves. Sit in a fucking corner.
Well, have no scenario.
Barricade up and blast the living shit out of everything that tries to come near you.
Yeah, and have no scenario, so you don't need to do anything else.
Because once you spread them out, it's a lot harder for dwarves.
It is, yeah.
2 of you together, that's fine. But what if one of you is the monster?
Monster? They're British, you know.
Okay, back in the room, and Paul's going to tell us now about his Daventry. No, it wasn't Daventry. It was called the...
It is Daventry, but it's Battlefield Hobbies.
Battlefield Hobbies GT23.
Yeah.
Which Paul ran.
I ran, yeah. Yeah, and so...
2-day event.
What it turns out to be was the Saturday was casual gaming, and so what that involved basically was Jim had turned up with the Kingdom of Ind list that he'd been working
on.
Ind, IND.
Are they not Indians then?
They are Indians, but in Warhammer, there's the countries that didn't get much
I think have we discussed this before?
Yes. So there's Nippon Cafe in the old
old world.
Old. Yeah. So I say the old world is the old world isn't just the Empire, but the entire map of the the planet or whatever it is. There's some countries that never get much fluff. Nippon Cafe and Ind is another one.
What? It's at the same level as those two.
Well, there's actually barely any fluff I could find about Ind.
Because
but it's India.
To me, Nippon and Cafe were a stretch.
Yeah. Well, this is more of a stretch. So Jim has been writing lists that represent this Warhammer Fantasy India, and we were playtesting them.
So what's in the list? I know nothing. I know nothing.
So he had managed to find its own unique flavour, and of course this is all this isn't fit for release in terms of he's not going to put the army list out there for quite a while.
I don't know if we've got really realistically. I don't know if we can go any further than we've gone. I mean, we can if people vote. If people vote for it to appear,
can if people vote.
Of course, that's the point of democracy. But where do you draw the line? Is what I want to say. I mean, how many lists do people want?
So on global maps, there is a place called Ind. It is there, and but
there's 4 different demon lists if you really want to.
Exactly.
So how far do you want to go?
Well, exactly. But there is, and I looked online and I could find barely any fluff about it. Because I wanted to start, I was like, well, who do Ind traditionally fight? And I was put up that question out in the Facebook group and got a couple of answers. So
who would they fight?
Arabia?
I don't know.
No, they're a different part of the world.
Are they?
So
is it not connected?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Anyway, I took a Chaos Army, I took an Empire Army, and I took, what else did I take? Vampire Counts, I think it was. No, Dark Elves. I took 3 armies down, like just for the flavour, and we had a couple of games, including one that was a real big game, a 4,000 pointer of Chaos versus Ind.
Yeah, but what is Ind? What is
Humans.
Yeah, with what? Elephants?
Yeah, some elephants. Yeah.
Bigger elephants, smaller elephants, the same elephants.
Same elephants. Like everything in that list had had the same thing from some other list.
So the Lego block was the same as another Lego block.
Yeah, yeah. So and the spells were all copies of other spells. It's just but it's in a combination that isn't because obviously the combination of what you must choose and what you have access to the army list has to be different because otherwise it is literally the same army. But there wasn't anything a unique stat line in there.
Okay, but from like ancient history, human ancient history,
Yes.
not GW ancient history, which lots of these things kind of cross over between, like Nippon, Cathay.
Yeah.
They're not really GW history, are they? They're like human history that we've kind of brought in.
Yeah.
In the same way Bretonians kind of brought in a little bit of human history, and Araby are definitely like human history with a bit of fantasy added on the top.
Mm-hmm.
So Indians tend to be like kind of bowmen and spearmen
that's
and
right.
mixed, and that's it.
Yeah. So
and then a bit of cavalry and some elephants and
exactly.
What's the difference between that and like?
Oh no, it did
Between that and Araby,
because so he'd put in some demons into the army list.
demons,
Demons, yeah, like as in like their own
Indian demons.
Indian demons, yeah.
Okay.
Like, and yeah, it did not seem overpowered. It like there was a heavy core tax on cheap infantry. Because the typical he'd done his research of his history.
Yeah,
it's like
of
where
course,
he's
he's
kind
a
of
historian,
where
that's
he's
what-
roughly put in this army in. It's like the normal Indian like soldier warrior was a guy with a bow. Like is in nothing no armoured like guy with a bow.
But they were very famous for having mixed units.
Yeah.
So they'd have bow units that would also have fighters behind them.
Oh, okay, right.
So if you could find a way of making a mixed unit where it's like bow on the front and some kind of infantry, so you fight as infantry but shoot as bow.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that in Warmaster, but that is what they would be in my mind.
So anyway, that was a Saturday. There was 4 of us there. That's right. Yeah, and we were playing. There were 3 of us there. We were playing the games. It was all very casual. Sadly, Jana's was meant to be there but got ill.
That is this time of year.
Yeah. And I rather than drive. It was 2 hours there, like where we live, and so rather than drive 2 hours back and back again, 4 hours, I stayed local, and I stayed in a pub called the Hollybush Inn, which is a place about 10 minutes away. So if we ever are doing something in Daventry,
Because I remember you saying that it wasn't a particularly nice area when you went there with Sherwin.
Oh no, Daventry itself.
So you didn't go in Daventry.
No.
You went somewhere else.
So 10 minutes drive away from Daventry into the countryside,
Right.
led to some village.
Yeah.
Where
The Hollybush.
and it was the Hollybush pub inn,
Right.
and I stayed in the pub. I'd booked it already, and
Slept on a bench.
no, a room.
A room. Okay.
I just found it was hilarious. What was hilarious about it? So I went there with because one of the other guys that was playing there was he lived fairly close by, so he joined me for a meal there.
Okay.
And we rock up to this pub. Pub looks nice.
Yeah.
And I already booked it, so it's I have a room, and it wasn't expensive, 65 included breakfast. And I was like,
For single.
yeah,
That's
single.
pretty
And I was
good.
like, yeah, fine. So it's here I am in this pub, embrace it. And they said, right, okay, so the food tonight, we have a Chinese takeaway in the pub. That's set up in the pub.
Right.
So that's the meal tonight is a Chinese takeaway. Order from them. And I was like, okay, and
They give you the tray or they put on a plate.
no, it's just and the entertainment is a
Entertainment?
the entertainment is a David Bowie tribute band. So it was all right, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing tonight. So ordered the Chinese in the pub, and it took them a while to make it, but considering it was there, but it was fine. Food was, and then afterwards, I could hear the band word for word in my room. So I was like, I might as well go down and watch them. I was going to anyway, but I was like, there's no early night here. So it was I ended up watching this David Bowie tribute band, in some random place.
What were they called?
I don't know.
You've been to watch tribute bands, so it's not you're not a stranger to this
No,
kind
I
of
was
thing.
just like, but it's like I'm not the biggest like David Bowie fan, but when it's like there's
Which era was he at?
they kind of did all eras, you know, like
He must have been
no, he
dressed
wasn't
in-
dressed up. He was just doing the music.
Oh, he just wore his slacks, just like
No, it was just like
casuals.
did
Didn't have
his
the Ziggy
songs.
Stardust.
Didn't dress up like him.
Oh, right.
Like just playing his music. Anyway, and many drinks were had, and I
Was it a band or was he just with the
It
band?
was a band.
Oh, cool! I didn't know
And
you'd be all right.
I fell down some stairs and like hurt,
As you
my,
did?
hurt my
Why?
ankle because I was drunk.
Drinking?
Yeah. Like,
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was like when you're drunk and you hurt yourself and you're like
Doesn't really hurt.
doesn't really hurt, but you know you have hurt
Yeah,
yourself.
in the
because you
morning
can't
it's gonna
feel it.
really hurt.
Yeah, it really hurt the next day. It was like probably came close to breaking my ankle there. Anyway, didn't. So yeah, that was cool. But if we ever are in Battlefield Hobbies doing an event or whatever, I would say that was a fun option. And plus, it was bloody freezing that night, and it was like so you could have obviously gone and eaten somewhere else.
Are we talking log fires in the pub? Is
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
Real ale?
Yeah.
Real ale? Cask?
Yeah, cask. It's like
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
So it was just nice.
Britain?
It's like I would much rather stay in a venue like that than some travel lodge.
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you?
Or it's like
Unless you needed to sleep.
well,
when the band's on.
I didn't really. But the room was fine after they finished. So anyway, so we did it, and then it did a 1-day event on the Sunday.
How many players?
8 of us, 8,
Including you?
including me. Yeah.
You got the lists or the?
I have the players and what they used,
Cool.
but I don't have their lists.
Have you forwarded to Martin?
Yes, I did. It showed the information. Yeah.
Excellent, good
I
stuff.
think I did. Yeah. So
No, he said it with such confidence and so rowing back. I'm sure I did. Yes,
yeah.
I'm sure
So-
somebody did. Somebody did.
Because I've been told that, because somebody had contacted me again internationally that there was that they had put into Best Coast Pairings, which is a tournament app for many different systems. They
What's it
put
called?
Best Coast Pairings.
Okay.
They'd put in Warmaster into Best Coast Pairings. So I was like, oh, okay. And this is, and that's like its result page,
So
what
it's
it looks like.
what's this? Just a Swiss tournament manager?
So like when you I was like, right, I was prepared to run it like I'd always run these things on paper, but I'm like, let's see if this app works. So I put people's names into it. It had all the races, so the race they were using, and I was like, right, okay, let's do the pairing. It did the pairings for me as random. And then it would sort by winners, as a default,
Swiss.
So and I was like, yeah, it worked 100%. The only thing.
How did you track the points?
So all my scenarios, if we were playing Winter Roller, so the scenarios obviously cap at 10, but you can win a scenario and have less points
than 10.
Yeah, than 10.
Yes.
So that's the only thing the app, obviously because this app was not designed for use my events.
Yeah.
Is that it wouldn't accept a win from somebody if they had less points. Because in some of them you can so if you're playing
So in your winter, you can have less points and
because
does it cap? It's not a draw if I've got more points, but you.
No. So for example, say you're fighting incursion or something, and you're scoring on the objectives, but the game will end when you
lose your general.
When you lose your general, you're broken. So you get a bonus amount of points for doing that. But if you've sat on those objectives and are 8-0 up, then you break me.
So you lose.
Yeah,
I score 4, you score 8, but I win.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got 8, I've got 4 because I broke you.
Yeah.
I've got no.
The person who broke the opponent won.
I thought didn't you get promoted
No, you
to
can't
10 automatically?
No, because you can't. There's reasons why. Because if you promoted it to 10, it doesn't really matter. Is in only wins and losses matter. It's
only for the winner.
Yeah.
The other places are decided on strength of schedule or number of tournament
number
points
of wins
or,
and then
or
tournament
these,
points.
or
So
whatever these points are.
But you Warmaster, because of its system, is in if you're what am I trying to say? You have to force a game, you need a scenario.
Yeah.
But if you you also have to play the scenario, but also you have to not lose the game in the traditional ways.
Yeah.
Because they actually mean more. So you've got to I've got to hold these zones, but not.
So you had to track that manually, is what we're saying.
So one or two of the results I had to artificially raise them to 10 points because they make the app
because like I said, it was 4 against 8, and it wouldn't class as a win.
It wouldn't. Yeah, exactly. It would not. So I was like,
but if you built your tournament rules to fit this system, you just incorporate that into your system.
Yes, you could. Yeah.
So you just say a win is always 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
So anyway, that was and I say aside from that little thing, it worked really well, and it would avoid same pairings that had already happened. It was
that's what you want.
You could pull every enemy switch on there on it, and surprise.
So do you know who created it? Does it say?
Best case pairings. I don't know. I think,
with this Warmaster
I can't.
section for it.
I can't
Okay.
remember. Yeah.
Right. So you're going to tell us the players and the lists and stuff, or who did what?
Okay. So I used Empire. Because nobody was using Empire, so I used an Empire list. And
Vanilla? Was it a special list?
It's written right there. So, so I used 6 halberdiers, an extra handgunner, 4 crossbowmen, of which 2 of them I upgraded to handgunners, a unit of flagellants, 2 units of knights, 3 units of pistoliers, 1 hellblaster, 2 cannons, a steam tank, a general, a hero on a griffin, 2 wizards, and then I spent some points on magic items.
2 heroes.
2 heroes, yeah.
1 on a griffin.
1 on a griffin, and then 2 wizards. And I spent some points on magic items. I can't remember.
Spell scroll.
Did I? I can't remember. He's in. I just filled up the point. The last.
Sword of Fate, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
for the 5 points.
Whatever.
Rod of Repetition.
That was the units.
Or the Wand of Power and the spell scroll is what you've probably done.
So Adam Palmer used goblins.
The Bobolins.
Rob Palmer used Kislev. James Baker used Chaos. Paul Godbold used Beastman. Murray Palmer used Araby. Jim Beach used Araby as well, and Tony Hale used Ogre Kingdoms.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Spread no elves.
No one actually had an elf army.
No leadership 10 at all.
No. I suppose I could have used Dark Elves instead of Empire, but I didn't. I choose.
So no leadership 10.
No, there's no leadership 10 out of those 8 players. Yeah, we played 3 rounds, and I can talk about my games. Yeah, so first round I was drawn against Tony, who used Ogre Kingdoms. And
you've got quite a lot of shooting, haven't you?
Yeah, but it's like there was, but Tony had brought a really tiny Ogre Kingdom, a Breakpoint 8 Ogre Kingdoms army, and he had
tiny,
and he had 2.
8's big.
Well, and he had 2 units of Rhinox Riders.
Yeah, well, that's where the problem
come. Yeah, and so I was, his army. He made a mistake of he just it's like it was one of the scenarios which had 2. Yeah, it was 2. 3. It was incursions, so 3.
And 1 disappears.
1 disappears, and he didn't contest one of them. And I was just like, well, I did point out to him what would
How
happen.
many commanders did he have? 2.
2.
Well, that's why.
3.
I don't
He did not have.
You can't tend to have a lot. That's where it gets.
So I dashed forward with my pistoliers to capture the one he wasn't anywhere near contesting. And I was like, so unless he, and then I was like, right.
Unless he breaks you, he's going to lose.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I'm going to sacrifice a unit out there, a unit just to hold that thing, and then that will tick up. Anyway, through kind of bad play by me, I kind of blocked my own cannons from shooting most of the time. It was a bit weird. I was in what am I doing here? Why? But because I was trying to shuffle room on my battle line, I was like, somehow I'm blocking my own cannons. And I had to react to a unit of gorges appearing in scenery. Ambushing, but didn't fail their second order to come out, as in they appeared, and so I was like, I've got to react to that. But the
which then just got annihilated by the cannons.
Yeah, exactly. But they were dealt with. Yeah. But something I didn't understand with Tony is he sent he had a unit of saber tusks, a single unit, so they're the new edition Chaos Hounds.
Yeah.
I just sent them off on their own, and they just got completely blattered run right into the front of all my guns, and I just shot them. I was like,
the problem is somebody's got to get shot.
Yeah, I just didn't really understand why he did that.
Somebody's got to get shot.
Anyway, there was a situation where he had his 2 units of Rhinox Riders, and I had my 2 units of Knights, and he failed to engage mine. I was like, better to charge than better to charge. So I sent my Knights in, and I would have happily exchanged a unit of Knights for a stand of Rhinox Riders, as in to make them harder to command.
Yeah, but on the charge it's not that different.
Well, actually, I ended up winning that fight.
Because if you do on the charge, you're getting 4 attacks with 4 up armour, and he's got 5 attacks with 5 up armour.
Yeah. So
I'd probably say the Knights are favourite.
Well, and they did, and they came through for me.
So he lost 440 points of Rhinox Riders.
I think I left 1 unit, 1 stand or something. Yeah, and when I disengaged.
And worst case scenario, you've given away most of 220 points.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's fannied now.
But yeah, I won that game via objectives.
And cannons.
No, I just say the cannons did not, because I.
Well, he must have been giving you something to shoot occasionally. He's not getting some, is he?
I blocked my own fire most of the time. Honestly, I was like, this is bad play by me. But I found, I played the scenario. So then my second round was against James Baker. He used a Chaos list. He used a Chaos list with it was character like, so that was meeting engagement, and he'd gone for a general with 2 wizards, both on Chaos Dragons. So it's like
the wizards are 8s, aren't they? They're just
yeah, but they're command distance 20.
Yeah.
So actually his command was was lacking. And I played on that. So
hang on, how much? He must have been nearly 600 points in characters then.
And so he had again, I know I said quite a small Chaos army. Some knights, some chariots, some Marauder horsemen. Obviously the core infantry, and he had a couple of spawn as well. Anyway, the meeting engagement.
Brain must have been like 6 or something. Worse than
I think it was like 8 again.
Was it?
Yeah, like anyway, with that in that game, the meeting engagement, he came out with a better setup than I did.
Right.
He was
again.
So he was pretty much. We ended up going our battle lines were created essentially long ways down the table because the way we'd rolled it. But his stuff was clumped together, while mine was quite spread out. So I spent most of the game, my general was just trying to bring my 2 brigades back into the
you're playing along the long side?
Oh, no. So because you roll for the table's divided into 6s.
Right.
So it's 2 L's. That's how it had fallen.
Right.
But his stuff had ended up clumped together in 1 L. Mine was quite spread out.
But your command could be a long way away from his stuff potentially.
It could be, and but when he committed one of his dragons, I just made sure I did everything I could to kill that unit. So when that died,
he had a general and 1 wizard.
That was really costly for him. Because it was difficult for him to command his army. And again, that game, the cannons did do me proud. That one, they got a good.
Did
fight.
they survive?
They did survive.
Both games.
Both games, yeah.
Oh.
So they got some good shooting off every turn, and that was cool. It was it was like I had to think my way out of a problem of trying to bring my army back to delaying actions. I'd use the pistoliers, I'd won the scouting, so my pistoliers had gone out to hold him back, and did a good job of holding him back. But yeah, it was. I just said that his character selection, he needed a hero, or 2 in there. He needed to trade some of the more expensive units in for some cheaper stuff and more characters. Actually,
okay. Well, I don't think 3's that bad. Maybe one of them should have been in a hero instead of a wizard.
But 2 wizards, and so that led 1-2 games. So that led me to playing in the little final, which was against Adam Palmer's Goblins. Goblins, and he had a fantastic 3D printed army where it's halflings and gingerbread men. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, so it's the halflings are goblins, the gingerbread men are trolls. It worked.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it worked. I was I could tell what everything was.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but that
very
one,
Christmassy.
Yeah. So that one. So Battlefield Hobbies had we started at 9, but Battlefield Hobbies had a kick out of 5 o'clock. So that last scenario, and I hadn't timed the game, so I just let them play because I was so that last scenario, last round, we actually did as 1,000 points. Because they fitted it in.
Right, to fit it in.
Yeah. And I played Adam, so we broke our armies into 1,000 points. From what you've got, choose 1,000 points.
That's a good idea if you're in a rush.
And that's actually really worked. So, and we played incursion, so 2 circles, and so we're playing a tournament game. We have a
Is
tournament.
that not 3 and 1 disappears?
Oh no, sorry, that's 3. 2 zones, two circles.
Like the 2 bigger ones.
2 bigger ones,
Okay.
Whatever that's called. So we're playing a tournament game. With 1,000 points and a tournament scenario, and it actually worked really well, actually. And Adam's a quick player, right? But we smashed that game out in under an hour.
Good. Well played.
And it was. I was surprised because I was actually, Warmaster works well at 1,000 points. I'd rather play 2,000 points, but in terms of
if you only got an hour, you can't play 2,000.
Exactly.
Points.
But I was this works just as well. It was just I was actually that was really good. Because it comes right down to. Individual units then, and when you start off, both of us were breakpoint 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And it was just right, this really matters.
Did the trolls work better with the new rules?
Oh, yes, they did. Yeah, they did. They were doing things. They were getting somewhere.
Yeah. And fucking shit up when they get there. No doubt.
But I because it's such a small game, I was like, I'm going to have to ride my luck, obviously.
You didn't take the full cannons then?
No, I didn't take cannons at all.
Yeah, it's
because
hard. One cannon's not doing anything.
No, but so I was like, I'm gonna. Yeah, my game plan went from I'll do this scenario to then I'll actually break him instead, because I was like, right, I'm doing the scenario, and then I was like, I had an opportunity to go after him, and he'd taken, because the goblins can take 4 units of bolt throws, so he'd taken 2. And I was like, I've got to deal. And I ended up storming these bolt throwers by 2 different angles. I was like, as in attack them from 2 ways, so then I could get some guys into them to beat them up.
Right.
Yeah, and that's how I handled it. Yeah, but it was a great game. It was like I just was pleasantly surprised that it was competitive.
Cool. So you won. Well done, sir.
So I got 3 10s and won my own. Yeah.
Won my event.
There's nothing to win. Yeah, like, but I got
the kudos, sir. The kudos.
Yeah, but I got to shout out to Battlefield Hobbies, like the price of it. So it was unbelievable. Now, like, so,
yeah, but that's the normal price.
Yeah, no, but like, so to play there for the day is £2.50.
It is ridiculous.
So the guys that the guys that were there Sunday, the event cost £2.50 each.
But if you wanted to hire the venue, I'll tell you, it's £5 a day and £5 for lunch. So if you do a weekend, you can get 2 days and 2 lunches for £20.
Yeah, I mean which
is cheap.
So cheap. It's like cheap. It is. It was like you almost felt bad that how cheap that was. In terms of like but equally they wouldn't like they had a Malifaux event on the Saturday, so I'd been warned off like they might be too busy, but it's not at all. Like it's like they.
Yeah, but it's not big enough to do a big event, is it? Realistically,
no, I suppose not. But like
the epic events or the Warmaster event or that kind of level, 24 players, it can't do much more than that. It really would get out of hand.
I suppose. I don't know, but I was just like it was. I mean, I think it's a lovely venue, and it's like exactly
the story behind the venues are absolutely brilliant. I love it.
It's like
they do like events at the weekend, and they just had this area that they made into a gaming area, and they just made it into a shop.
Yeah,
it's like just completely random. It's like you go in an industrial estate, and there's this big workshop.
Yeah.
It's a game space.
It was damn. It was cold outside, but it was warm inside.
I like the venue.
Yeah,
but
I mean, for that price, it's just you cannot complain at all. As in what's £2.50 nowadays? You can't even buy a drink for that.
No. But
that's the whole day. That wasn't like
no, that's not one game. That's not a table feast for an hour or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to buy a milkshake every hour or whatever it is. Listen, I don't want to buy a milkshake every hour. Don't be ridiculous.
So I won 3 out of 3 with Empire.
Do you want to read the results and then we can move on to the next session?
So I came first. Adam,
well done, sir.
Yeah, Adam came second because he had 2 10s and a 4. A set of goblins, and then Rob Palmer, his dad came.
Well, you're doing locked in on the final table anyway.
Yeah, we're locked in. Yeah. So and then Rob Palmer came 3rd with his Kislevs. Yeah.
And then 4th,
James Baker. Yeah.
5th, Paul.
Yeah.
6th,
Murray. 7th, Jim, and 8th was Tony.
Okay, well played, fellas.
Yeah.
Attention! If you need to get your miniatures safely from point A to point B, then get yourself a KR multi-case. KR multi-cases come in all manner of different shapes and sizes and have gamer-friendly pricing. So do yourself a favour and get yourself a KR multi-case today. Soft foam, hard cases.
Okay, back for the final section. We are talking about Warmaster Rules Committee. The bin men have arrived. That's always good on a Friday. And we're going to be talking about what is the Warmaster Rules Committee, or Warmaster Revolution Rules Committee, or whatever we want to call it. Warmaster Revolution
Rules Committee?
There was another word that got put in there at some point, and revisionary Rules Committee or something. So we'll talk a little about who's in that committee, what it does, when it does it, and how to get in touch with them.
Okay.
So it's been running about 5-6 years now.
Yeah.
Ever since Alice did his major works in incorporating ancients into the Warmaster system and creating revolutions.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of work around the army list that then needed doing, because lots of the changes to the core rules meant that the army list kind of needed a little bit of attention, let's say.
Yeah.
And some of them, because there used to be like 3 sets of army lists. There were the official lists, about a dozen or so. There was some tournament lists for whatever reason. There's about 6 or 8 of those, and then there's some experimental lists, another 6 of those.
Yeah.
So to get all those into one coherent set of lists, I think it's 25 roughly, 25 usable lists.
Yeah.
I think that's the number. And over the period of the last 5 or 6 years, we spent our time kind of chiseling away the rough edges.
Yeah.
It's not perfect.
No, nothing. And it never will be.
Never will be, because as soon as you think you've solved the puzzle, something comes up you didn't experience or didn't expect and changes the puzzle.
Yeah, exactly. And there are some things that you would clean up in Warmaster, but there's only so many changes you can make each year. For example, like I was using Empire cannons, like the event we spoke about. The rules for cannons are silly with the 5 centimeter bounces. Like
they do need to bounce, but I don't know about direction of bounce.
Yeah, but like you could clean up those rules so much easier. Yeah, so like as in this.
I think the only issue is with the direction of bounce, isn't it? What's the issue with anything else?
Well, no, but it doesn't need. You don't need to have this. So I always favour my opponent with it in terms of. So this unit's shooting at this unit. Where do the bounce throughs happen?
So if it's roughly in the front, and they're in column, I'm getting 8 shots, and if it's not, I'm getting 4 and 2 behind the 2.
Yeah, and
I ain't interested in getting the laser measure out.
Exactly, because it's badly written, and I favour my opponent. So you would change that with a very simple thing of like you hit a unit in the front. If it's got a flush unit behind it, as in like it's all taken, it bounces through to them.
What if people start like just offsetting slightly so it doesn't bounce?
That isn't what Warmaster is about. Anyway.
No, right. Now go with me, right? Because this is the problem that I'm saying. You pull a strand thinking you solved it, but all you've done is create another fucking problem. Okay. So what if I have a unit in line on the front?
Yeah.
And then behind them, I have a unit of line, but offset. So the left-hand side. Oh. Okay.
Hello.
Okay, so I'm going to have to edit that bit out, but you've got a unit in line.
Yep.
And then behind it, you've got another unit in line, but offset one to the right.
Yeah.
So the left-hand stand is under the middle stand.
Right, yeah, I get it.
And then behind that, you go back, and they're all with the left-hand side. What happens on your bounce principle now? Because there's nothing fucking behind that first stand.
But they are not. If they get into combat, they're not supporting.
But they're still in formation. They can still move normally. But now you've made the cannons half as effective.
I suppose, but yeah.
People will. You think you've done it, like I say with this system, you think you've done like Raised Dead.
Yeah.
Raised Dead's coming round again and again and again and again, and this ship's going to come round again. The number of times Raised Dead's been rewritten, and somebody finds another way of cheesing it.
So what's the flaw in it now?
Well, you can pull other units in.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
So say you've got a combat, and nearby you've got another combat. You want to make it one big ass combat, so you use your Raised Dead to daisy chain across the combats and link the fuckers up.
Ah.
You sneaky bastards! So you just play the game with like a gentlemanly swing. It's not cricket. It's not cricket.
Exactly. Like it was something I did. I wanted to make sure, because the only bit of like Warmaster rules, I think core rules, I'm just a bit confused, is when you have a combat from multiple directions over which.
I always treat them in my opponent's favour.
So I reread the rules. I went through it with Jim, and I was like, I'm 100% clear on it now.
What if it's in 3 directions?
It's just done by unit by unit.
Unit by unit. And what if they can't? You see, this is the problem.
They die.
They die.
Basically, most of the if you in Warmaster, if you hit in the front or if you hit two sides, you're in real problem.
So
because if it's more, there is if one unit's hitting 2 different sides, it won't matter.
But what if there's 2 units and one's hitting the front and one's hitting the side?
Yeah,
and they're behind each other. They're in a world of pain.
So the unit behind is one of your units. If you lose that fight, is probably going to die because they won't be able
you
to
choose which way they move, but neither of them can move.
There's no choice in terms of like it's done by.
No, but you choose which order they move.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
But there is no choice that's good.
Yeah.
It's like they're gonna bad choice and bad choice.
Yeah, exactly. Because once they're pushed back and they're in combat, they can't make way, and the other one.
Well, this is one of the ones we need to do a video about, because I've played because I always, when I'm playing somebody, I just allow them to do what they would do.
Yeah.
So I've seen all kinds of stuff. I've seen people moving diagonally.
Yeah, that ain't right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's nowhere clear right.
Yeah, but anyway, I just let them do it, and then It's not at the end of the day. I mean, you're getting fucking banged from both sides. You're going to end up dying anyway.
It's just like,
speeds it up.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The two areas in the game, if I could go back in time and say, please don't do it this way, let's find a different way. It's like drive backs.
As in the physical movement of models.
Yeah. And getting blown off the table.
Okay,
like elephant, Stegodon's getting blown off the table for 20 centimetre drive back. It's not that hard to get driven back 20 centimetres on an unlucky dice roll. You can do it on 4 dice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the movement during combat.
Yeah, that is, well, unless drive backs is less a problem, but yeah, movement, you would not have being pushed.
Well, drive back's not a problem if you're undead.
Yeah, I suppose no, you never make way. But like, yeah, no, but being driven back from after fighting for another rounds,
because that is the when you do things like you say, oh, you can't put birds within a centimetre and all this. You're really just dealing with the movement in combat issue. You're not the birds is a symptom.
Yeah, exactly.
The issue is the movement in combat. And when you try and teach somebody the game, you say, oh well, but in this situation this happens, and in this situation this happens, and then oh, but what about in this situation? Oh, I hadn't thought about that. And you go, this is why people like used to spend hours and hours playing a game of Warmaster, because you're discussing the fucking intricacies of the rules all the time.
Exactly.
You're not actually playing the game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So those two areas are the big issues in the game for me.
Yeah, and I agree. And I'd say one is more an issue than the other.
Okay, but and neither of them are changing, unfortunately, because I think the game is what it is. If you went into the successor games that we've talked about a few times, the kind of black powdery stuff, I'm pretty sure the combats don't move. And I'm pretty sure drive backs don't happen either.
I don't know. Like,
I'm pretty sure they don't. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure you just take like morale markers. You know, you become shake, and then eventually you'll run away rather than stands come off and you get pushed back. And I'm 100% sure the combats don't move because that's where all the difficulty comes. Yeah. But then it would be a different game. So when I've tried to going off on a little bit of tangent, I'm still playing with the Napoleonics thing.
Okay.
And I don't know whether to try and make it like Warmaster, but then you're bringing all that nonsense of the combats again, and movement, and drive backs. Yeah. And shooting is like off the fucking scale in Napoleonics. It's not like in fantasy where shooting is just like trivial.
Yeah, but that is a game where people have got muskets like that.
And lots of cannon.
Yeah, but it's like they're shooting each other rather than going into... Bayonet charges are rare.
Exactly.
And most of the time, a bayonet charge resulted in the other one just giving up.
So you've got a unit of Napoleonics, and I've got a unit, you're French, I'm English. We stand about fucking 40 yards away from each other and blow the living fuck out of each other.
That's right.
So how do you do drive backs?
Well, you don't, do you?
Because you'll be fucking driven back
No,
there's no armour.
You can't. Well, but you're...
There's no armour save.
Yeah, you're taking hits.
There's hits. You've got 3 hit points each in Warmaster. Yeah. There's no armour.
No, not for that, No one's got a save,
So you're rolling, even say you're rolling, and then you're not just going to roll 1 dice, are you? All you're doing is shooting. Everybody's shooting. So then how do you do the drive backs are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
The armies will be getting blown all over the fucking pitch.
Yeah. I mean, like with Napoleonics, it's like they stand in those lines until there's barely anybody left.
And then charge to finish it off.
And they can't see each other. That's the point. The thing is, that's the thing you can't. Is in even though you're standing 50 yards away, you can't see each other after a few rounds because those muskets kick out black smoke, and they can't see each other. Smoke of battle. It's why they have the flags. It's like we're actually still here.
I think Warmaster at its heart is a melee game with a little bit of a garnish of like ranged, which just kind of disrupts, really confuses and stuff like that. Yeah. Whereas I think Napoleonics becomes something completely different. It's more like a ranged game, like a 40k kind of. We're just shooting the shit out of everything, and then occasionally there'll be a bit of combat or a bit of like cavalry goes in to kind of do something.
But again, most of the time it's like cavalry is like threatens the units to stop firing as much, so they go into their squares. And then they have to be taken apart by other infantry or cannons because the cavalry.
Yeah, but how would the drive back work against a square?
They can't. You can't have that mechanic. You can't have that mechanic.
You can't, can you? Because you can't drive back a square. It's either going to fall and run away, or it's going to stand.
It stands there and just gets annihilated. Yeah.
Yeah, because breaking the square just means you die.
Yeah, exactly. Like as soon as the infantry unit is broken, it's run over by cavalry immediately. Like in terms of and it's gone. It's combat ineffective.
Yeah. So Warmaster in its heart, I don't think it would work. Napoleonics. I think trying to use Warmaster is probably a kind of something that's not going to happen. So then you go to one of the successors, And the problem with those games is they become too, like, friendly, too gentlemanly. The rules can't be pushed. Aren't they? You've played, like, Black Powder and stuff.
Yeah,
it's all
lovely.
very... Yeah, but it's not...
But you'd really struggle to play that in an event.
Oh, you really struggle to play that competitively.
Yeah.
You've just got to be kind of laughing along.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I'll move to here and just point. And
It's like, have my brandy.
For all 3 die. Oh, yes.
Oh,
Tally-o.
The 95th Rifles will do this. Oh, damn.
So maybe Napoleonics is just a difficult era to replicate and why people have to abstract it.
I think you can do it, like, but I guess you got your question. First question is what do you want? What are you trying to design, and how do you want it to be different? Because I think, to be honest, Black Powder for Napoleonics does it fantastic. The only thing it doesn't represent is the fog of war, because it can't. But you actually do finish that game. So, why not just how do you make something? How do you make it better than Black Powder for Napoleonics?
Well, you were trying to bring more of the Warmaster element into it.
I understand, but it's.
But you can't, I don't think you can do it.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what Rick and Jervis, who were designing it, realised that it's like this game can't be competitive and it can't be. There can't be all this movement and stuff in combat because it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
There's too much firepower. It's like if you built an army of Warmaster that was all archers. Or you give them like 2 shots each or something.
Yeah.
Or we got a delivery. We're never going to get this episode finished.
I need you to come pick me up, all right? I got bit by a fucking disease, dog. God damn it.
Right, we had a delivery then. So now we've got to get back on track because I was wandering off on a tangent.
Yep.
So let's stay focused.
Okay.
So we are going to talk about the members of the committee.
Yep.
So who have we got, Paul? You've got it listed from. I can't see that far. Do you want to read them out?
Is that current?
No.
So, what?
Well, if you say everybody on there, then I'll thank the 2 that have left. This is the list, the last list that was published.
Barry Pittman.
Okay, UK.
Alice.
So you've got to say where they're from, sir.
UK.
UK.
Alice Navril.
Oh, I'm chairman as well, by the way.
Czech Republic.
He's vice chairman.
Yep. Dave Cisco.
Cisco, USA.
Chris Orr.
Vice chairman. I need to say the vice chairman.
Okay,
I think
vice chairman, right.
He's also the guy behind the Warmaster app, the builder.
Chris Orr, UK Vice Chairman.
He's the guy behind the Warmaster Trade Forum and the Experimental Forum. Nathan
Hargreave, Australia.
I need to say thank you to Nathan. He was in the team, but now he's gone. Mm-hmm. Thanks for your work and endeavours, Nathan. If somebody from Australia wants to get involved, then there is a vacancy from the Antipodeans. Is that the right name for them?
Don't know.
I'm sure it is.
Radomir Klavbach, Czech Republic.
He's a giant of a man.
Yeah, he's cool.
Giant.
Mm-hmm. Ole Hansen, Germany. Pauline Salavinian, Finland. Radowska Ratachak, Polish. Tomasz Jakovic, Poland. And Peter Getlik, Poland. Christopher Dingwell, Sweden. Martin Nielsen, Sweden. Jim Beach, UK.
You need to stop there because Jim Beach was with us for a long time and one of the people behind the kind of impetus in the UK to get the game up and running again. Mm-hmm. And also he did the scouting rules and he also worked on Cathay and Nippon, I think. And obviously in but he's moved on as well this year. So thanks for your work, Jim.
Ian Standing, UK. Me, Paul Winter, UK. Matt Kolowski, USA. Michael Ivachnich, USA. Matt Tatar, USA. Chris Bennett, USA. Peter Lamb, USA. There you go. But it's changed. There's been some additions, haven't there?
There has. So we lost Nathan from Australia and we lost Jim from the UK, and we placed them through a election. Well, there was a nomination process, and then an election process, and we replaced them with Jan Zapaka from Germany. So that takes our German contingent up to 2. Yep. And we also got Philip. Yep. And is it Prosser? No, that's
Presser. Yeah.
He came to your LGBT event.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Danish.
And he's Danish, so we now have a second Scandinavian country on board. So we've got Sweden, and now we've got Denmark.
Yep.
So that's excellent.
It is excellent.
Excellent. The more countries that are involved, the better. We've gone down to 4 from the USA, 4 from the UK rather than the 5 we had, and we've got 5 from the USA. That's a little bit above where it should be actually.
Well,
but we had to get 21 at the beginning.
You work with what you got.
That's exactly right to start it off. So I think there's a cap that means that realistically we can only have 4 from a country. So the UK won't be getting any more people because we've got our 4. And should the USA lose a person, and then that cap of 4 will become in place, and then the next person will be from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the list of members, and how you get in touch with them is 1, Facebook, I guess, is probably...
Yeah, Warmaster Facebook page.
2, if you're from a country, like, for example, the Czech Republic, hopefully you know Alish and Rad. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Because if they're on the committee, hopefully they've got some kind of presence in the community of the country.
Well, they're not everywhere in that country, are they?
No, but I mean, it'd be
Anyway,
easier to
go on.
contact them than Paul Winter.
Yeah.
But probably not Paul, because he's quite easy to contact. So hopefully they've got some kind of reach within their own communities, so you should be able to find them if you're from one of those countries. If you're not from one of those countries, like if you're from Spain or Italy, or then reach out using the Warmaster Facebook page.
Yep.
I mean, that's quite an active page.
Yeah, it's very active.
The other place to go to is the Experimental Forum.
Yep.
I think it's called the Warmaster Revolution Experimental Forum. Paul's going to pull it up and I'll read out the exact WMR experimental, all one word, .freeforums.net. And how that works, that is basically a sounding board for anybody to post up. You can be a guest, you don't even have to register to read it.
No, you don't. And a lot of the committee members post up stuff here as well.
They do. Committee members do have to split their time between here and another forum. Yeah. One thing I would say is that not everything that gets talked about in here will get taken on into the main forum, because you need somebody to champion it. So we've discussed that process in the past. So people get involved on this forum. They say, "Oh, I like this idea." We discuss this idea, and then I'll try and take this idea forward to the rules committee, and we'll see where we get on. It's not a perfect system, but it's a whole lot better than the system we saw that Epic were using, which was there is no system. You just pray to the gods, and the gods don't answer. The gods this year haven't answered. We'll try praying next year. It's like next year we pray to the gods haven't answered. Sorry.
Are you still in a fight for your Epic? Or they finished up for the year, haven't you? Like,
I guess I can go next year and win it again, but only if.
Well, you didn't even try to defend it this time.
No, but that's because I don't want to be a vain person, but I spent quite a lot of time and effort with Epic, and I suggested there was a set of miniatures done by. Who's the guy that got his hands burned a couple of times? Anklo.
Forest Dragon?
No,
Anklo Miniatures?
Yeah, the guy that's just recently done the Nurgle Warmaster stuff.
Anklo.
Anklo. So he did Demon Hunters.
Yes,
and they got pulled down.
Yeah.
And everything got refunded. And I think it happened on another one. But the Demon Hunters, there was no list for Demon Hunters in Epic. So I picked a really benign list, and I kind of did it in exactly the format they wanted and everything. And I submitted it multiple times, not just once, multiple. And I even gave it in person to people. Here it is. Could you have a look at it, please? And I got no communication back.
That was great.
Really?
Yeah.
I took time and effort. I spent maybe 20 hours developing this fucking list and putting it out and doing all the research and then not even such much as like a acknowledgement of the message or nothing. It's just like that's poor.
Yeah.
Well, what you won't get that with Warmaster. You might not get to speak to everybody all the time because like real life exists.
Yeah.
People have jobs and lives and kids and so you can't. But people don't have time to sit on forums all day every day.
No, they don't. Yeah,
they don't. And that's why I've struggled with Facebook a little bit. It's because that fucking thing is non-stop. If you start logging in, the thing is just like a nonsense machine that just throws nonsense at you all day.
Okay.
I don't know how much time you spend on Facebook. But
I mean, but
it draws you in and draws you in.
It's a tool to something, but with Warmaster, compared to a lot of other game systems, there are only a few places where there is like the community is. So that's good because it's all centered in one place.
Yes.
Like and if you were doing one thing, it's the Warmaster Facebook page.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is good because it's not like there's not 10 Facebook pages.
Yes.
Like there's one, and that is where, and people are quite responsive on there.
Okay. So Go there. If you want to buy and sell stuff, go to the Warmaster Trading.
Yeah, which you'll soon find because you'll get directed onto
You'll
it.
get directed on, and Chris will. He's behind that. He's got like tools that tell you how much shit's worth. So instead of I found a unit of slan. How much are these worth? Well, look at the bloody list.
Mm-hmm.
They're not as worth as much as you think, but some of them are. Some of them are. And the final place is the experimental forum.
Yeah.
And if you go to those 3 places with your, well, not the trading forum, if you go to those 2 places and you've got a good idea and you've thought it through and it's not like some new list that, I don't know what a new list would be, a new list for something, then that's the place to get it heard.
Yeah.
And get it sounded out, and if it's good, it will be taken on.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And I'm aware as the chairman that I have a different. You may see me as quite kind of brash and boisterous. This is not how I behave as a chairman.
Right.
I wear different hats. So when I'm a chairman, I'm like a referee. I don't wear this hat. I wear a different hat.
Yep.
So there's a tension between. I'm a small C conservative. I'm happy for the game to be it was handed down, and we try and protect it as best we can, but keep it living. But there's definitely a tension between that and the, new shiny stuff. Got to keep moving forward. Got to keep pushing. New stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of. I didn't know this because I don't. My hand's not on the pulse apart from in our forum. There's a new Beastman list. I mean, how is there a new Beastman list? We did loads of changes this year. Ian.
Is it?
I said, what?
I didn't know that.
What? There's a new list. And then, because Chris said to me, what about this new list? We're going to bring it forward this year. I said, what new list? How is there another new list? Seriously, I think we made 6, 7, 8 changes to that list this year. How is there another list? So maybe the list is good enough to pass the voting committee. But I mean, my initial reaction was, what? There's a new Beastman list.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, there is. Well, obviously, there's a lot, and I don't mean to derogate the work that people are doing on the experimental forum, because that is what it's for. Go in there, get the conversation.
It also done an alternate Team Kings list as well.
I didn't say that.
So that's not the only one.
With my chairman town, this is good
and
stuff.
an alternative witch hunter.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's from the same person.
Okay, well, whatever. So it's good to get all these conversations started, and I promise you, if they're good enough, and the changes are merited.
Look, someone's written a Stormcast list.
Brilliant. He can get to fuck. And it's not even the same universe, mate. You go take that with your space
elf.
elf.
About to die when eight old world turns
Good.
up anyway.
It's a fucking Stormcast. Tell them the hats fuck off now.
Yeah.
So that's what this forum's for.
Yeah.
But don't expect everything in this forum to be taken up, or if it is taken up, to be agreed with, because that's not how it works.
Yeah.
If we've done like 6, 7, 8 changes to a list, how's that had time to bed in even? How have we even knocked the fucking wrinkles out of that? Surely even GW's cycle is 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, isn't it?
I guess so. Yeah.
So you've got to give things time to bed down. And I know there's lots of pressures to do new stuff. Like you've talked about today.
Yeah.
I mean, will IND get voted in? Would I vote for it? I certainly wouldn't vote for it.
You wouldn't. No matter what was presented.
No, I'm not interested in IND. We've got 25. I'm not interested in Cathy and Nippon. But I'm only one vote.
Okay, yeah.
So it doesn't matter, does it?
No.
No. It doesn't matter. And yeah, there's no waiting to vote. It's just one vote.
When is the voting season?
Well, that's the other thing. So Chris asked if we could delay it for a month, because I think it was the window started in January. So you have a proposal window that runs 21 days, and then a voting window that runs 21 days after that. So it runs about 6 weeks. But that kind of fell around about the time of the tri-wiz, I'm guessing, was the issue.
Right, okay.
So Chris wanted it pushed back a month, so effectively the tri-wiz would fall around the proposal window rather than during the voting window. Because in the voting window, the proposals are done. You can't change the proposals.
Yeah.
You can vote them down, but you can't change them. Once a proposal's been nominated and then seconded, it goes forward. That's how voting
Can
works.
it be delayed then?
Well, yeah, of course.
Oh, okay, right. So is it being?
Yes.
Right, okay.
So Chris asked if we could do such a thing. I said, are there any objections? There are no objections, so there's no reason to not delay it for a month. And then going forward, I think Chris is going to suggest that maybe we try and make that permanent if it works, because there was no reason to pick January in the first place. It was just a random date.
It was just a date, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's the beginning of the year.
Yeah, beginning of the year.
So the one thing that would do is...
I don't think I have any massive to change, because I was really happy with the last year's changes. Like with this year's changes, I don't have any massive.
The only thing that would do is potentially push back the release date of the updated army books by a month.
Yeah.
So instead of them coming out in March, they'll probably come in at April.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make any difference. They'll still be valid for the whole year until the next year comes out, and it is what it is. And we've done some internal changes there was like 4 different versions. There were 4 levels we could give an army. Like
that was 2.
experimental, developmental, whatever it is. So basically, it's like binary now.
Yeah.
You have a suggestion, you take your suggestion to the experimentals forum.
Yeah.
Once it goes past there and goes into our domain, the Rules Committee domain, it's then like a binary choice. It's either this is either on or off. There's no, we'll put this in, but it'll be a test for a year and then we'll re-vote on it. It's either on or off.
Yeah.
It's like, because you can't have different versions of a list existing.
Yeah.
What do I use in a tournament? The experimental list, the developmental list, the bloody tournament. What do I use?
Exactly. Yeah,
it's either on or off.
Yeah,
GW don't give you. It's either on or off. So you either the list it gets voted in, the change, or it doesn't.
Yeah.
Then we move on. We can amend it and redo it next year if you want to. If you still have belief in it or whatever. So that's all going to stay the same.
Oh.
Next year, it's a binary on or off. I mean, there was some. Anyway, next year I'm not going to talk about that. Next year. The army books, as I know, it won't be updated. There'll be a document that goes alongside it. But if Alice gets the time and inclination, then he can update his army books. They're his army books. Yeah. All we do is we produce a document of the voting and what we suggest should be changed.
Yeah.
How that gets incorporated into the army books is not really on our scope.
Yeah.
As the committee, we don't control it. Okay. Anything you want to say, Paul?
About the committee?
Yeah.
No, it's simply that if you're sitting here listening to this and you wonder, like, are other people out there thinking about it? Like, the committee. You should be happy because there is a bunch of passionate people who are like for the benefit of the game and take the right attitude to the game and develop it in the way they see that is best to be done. So it is, because obviously somebody from the outside looking in would think, oh, Warmaster is obviously a dead system, isn't it? Because it's like, GW hasn't supported it for a long time. Yeah. But it's like, but there is actually a group of like people who are really into the game and do push things, and they are made those changes.
I'll tell you what we need to do.
And it's a way you can influence it.
Yeah, we need to do a video like probably in the new year, like the first one or a pod, and it's like. Somebody going on YouTube say, how do you start a Warmaster? The first thing you do is do not buy the rule book.
No.
Do not go onto eBay and say, oh, I found a rule book, it's only 10 quid. Yeah. It's just, you might as well chuck it in the fucking bin, mate.
Just for a shelf to look at.
Yeah, because the rule book now, the relevance of the rule book now with Revolution is non-existent.
It's gone.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Because the way you can influence the game is if you have a gem of an idea, like if you put it onto the experimental forum, it will get looked at and supported. Yeah. Say that is how, and if you have to have a gem of idea in the first place.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's 2/3. So if you've got 21 committee members, which we do, I need 14.
Yeah.
Or 2/3 of the amount that votes. Not everybody votes on every not every committee member votes on every vote because they might not. Be that bothered.
They're willing to be impartial.
There is no abstain option.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're either for or against, and if you don't vote, you abstain effectively. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So abstain is an option. It's not like a compulsory you have to vote on every one, but most people vote on the vast majority of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like 90-95%, maybe even more for some people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what I would say is don't be afraid to get involved. Get involved for sure. You can contact the podcast. We've got our own places you can contact us via the warmaster.podcast@gmail.com or your Warmaster Podcast on the Facebook page. Yep. Do you get a copy of that? The Facebook page?
No.
No. Okay, that's probably one.
That's all you.
Oh, good luck. I don't. So if I've got three Facebook profiles. Yeah. I've got Warmaster Podcast, Blackgate Miniatures, and Barry Pittman.
Yeah.
I only really see Barry Pittman.
Yeah.
So I don't even know there's messages in the other two.
Yeah,
so, unless I don't even go to Barry Pittman very often. So Paul's really easy to get hold of on. He's everybody's friends on Facebook.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Or contact us at warmaster.podcast@gmail.com, or you can contact us via the YouTube page.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things I thought about. We might store our back catalogue of podcasts on YouTube because
if we can do it,
that doesn't cost anything.
Oh, then we should do it.
But you can't really just listen to it.
Yeah,
but at least it's somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah.
At least there is.
But
It's not going to die.
You can do it as a video that it just plays with a picture of Warmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Exactly. I'd have to make sure there's no music involved.
No, it's just a picture of Warmaster.
No, I mean, no, like, because in the early episodes we had, like, proper music.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There was some crazy song you had about a vampire, I can't remember.
Vampire Scar.
Vampire Scar, yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, okay, so that might be the last one of the year, I don't know. Why not?
Yeah, well, could have fit in a game, wouldn't it?
It's possible, I mean, it gets very busy in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Especially when the kids break up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So anyway, that was Warmaster Podcast episode 185 with Paul and Barry.
All right. See you later.
Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Merry New Year.
Would you like to know more?